for this webinar of membership engagement. My name is Catherine Appling, and I am the IFC Graduate Assistant in the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Affairs at OSU. So thank you for attending our webinar, and I hope you find this information helpful. So we'll just get started. Our presenter. For the overview, we'll have three different kind of separate sections of membership engagement: finding the balance, ways to stay mentally and physically active during quarantine, and mental health. And we'll have Zach DeGeorge with finding the balance.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zach DeGeorge, and I currently serve as the Internal Vice President on the Interfraternity Council. And today I'll just be talking a little bit about finding that balance between your school life and your work life and your relaxation life and everything in between. Go ahead and get started here. So how do we balance online schooling without getting burned out? This is new territory for everyone. Classes are being taught in a large variety of ways, and it seems like everything just keeps getting more and more chaotic, especially with finals week around the corner. It seems like people are still trying to figure out just what the best ways are to succeed. And is it even possible to succeed when it seems so easy to lose motivation? So I'm just going to try to provide a couple of tips that will hopefully help out anyone who's looking to stay on track and finish strong. So the first tip is to set a routine. This is extremely important, especially during this time where everything's kind of been uprooted. Establishing a new routine is a great way to stay motivated in your online classes. Schedule time to watch lectures, knock out homework, finish projects, and even take those take-home tests. Check to see if an updated syllabus has been posted. Sometimes professors have changed things around, and I know that while the spring semester may almost be done, these are also really great tips and tricks to have for summer classes or if you're taking classes online in the fall. Communication is super key during this time. Just like us, professors are new to this too. So it's important to have a good line of dialogue. Let them know what you like and what you don't like about the teaching styles, because a lot of times they're very receptive to that information. They want to know what they feel is working and what they feel, hey, we may need to work a little bit and change this. And maintain those study groups and communications with classmates. With finals right around the corner, as I mentioned earlier, it's a great time to have those study groups up and running to maybe help understand the information a little better and succeed with that last push. Take a break. This is something that's going to be touched on a little bit later, but it's not all school right now. There are a lot of other factors to take into account, and it's important to take a break and relax. While you may feel like there's more stuff due now than ever, it's important to not lose that motivation and stay on a great track of balancing the school life with the mental health aspects, which will be talked about a little later, and with your relaxation life. If you start losing motivation for an assignment, step away, go for a walk, check your phone. A lot of great tips are going to be covered a little bit later in the presentation. And things that comply with CDC guidelines, of course, just to be safe. While these times are unprecedented, they will eventually come to an end. And as it says there, until then, we are hoping everyone works hard to stay safe and finish the semester strong. And we can't wait to see everybody again. Thank you.
All right, and now we have Queen to do her presentation on staying active during quarantine.
Hi everybody, I'm Queen and I'll be talking about staying active during quarantine and how you do it. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is exercising your mind. I know it's really hard to be active with stimulating your mind during quarantine because I know myself, I just want to sleep and watch Netflix all the time, but we need to do something stimulating because usually we're on campus and we're seeing billboards or we're going to class and we're getting new information, and I know it's hard to do that, so here's a little tip to do that. First, I will talk about read a book. I know sometimes I like to read the same book over and over again. You can have book recommendations. I know one of my group mates has something like that coming up too. Crossword puzzles and strategic mind games. I also put Sudoku on here because I don't know how to do Sudoku. I've tried. It's hard. My brain cannot handle it. And that's why I put strategic mind games, because you have to really think about it, and I don't know how to do that. So maybe you can use that to exercise your mind. And then on this next slide, talk about exercising your body. So just taking your dog or cat for a walk. Your furry friends, they want to be out too, even though you want to be cooped up watching Netflix. You both can get some vitamin D, which I know is probably much needed. Go outside, take a walk, play with them, throw the ball. Jogging or cycling is definitely a good recommendation as well because you can get exercise, you can use it as just a source of peace and again getting that vitamin D. And yoga and Pilates. I definitely know that there's a lot of people that are on YouTube. There's free exercise classes, free yoga classes, free Pilates classes that allow you to just follow along on a beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. On this next slide, I'm talking about picking up an old or a new hobby. So I know that there's sometimes things that we always wanted to do, but we never actually finished it or started it because I am guilty of that. So we have time now, so why don't we, try something new or pick up what we used to do? Because I know I used to crochet with mom when I was in elementary school. Pick that back up. You may be good at it. Like you might like what you can pick back up or start something new. You don't have to be overly productive because I know people want you to come in to quarantine trying to be extra productive and come out as Einstein. You do not have to do that. So just make sure you just use your time and have fun with it because you never know, you could come out with a great hobby or trade and you can use it in the future.
All right, thank you, Queen. Next up, we have Kira to talk about mental health.
Hello, everyone. Like she said, my name is Kira Horton, and I currently serve as a secretary on the Multicultural Greek Council. So let's get started. So mental health is super important and can be very compromised during this quarantine time. So some things to watch for are feelings of hopelessness, like this situation won't get better. If your grades are suffering, that might feel like my grades won't recover, but that is something that you should for sure watch for. Anxiety is a very big one. If you're feeling chest pains or short of breath or overwhelmed, that's a big sign of anxiety. Lack of motivation, that can greatly affect your schoolwork, so make sure you're watching out for that. Irritability, that can greatly affect your dynamic in whatever house you're staying in because everyone's been around each other for so long. You can get easily irritable, so make sure you watch for that too. Changes in eating habits and too little or too much sleep. It seems like there's not a whole lot to do during quarantine except for school and hang out with the people in your house. So sleep can get to be one of the things that you rely on if your mental health is struggling a little bit. So if you notice that you're feeling any of these things, then we will give you some resources that you can turn to. So how does stress show up in college students? Everyone shows stress differently. So if your friend, for example, says that they're stressed and they're feeling this, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you're going to feel. So you just have to look for all signs of stress, which can be stomach problems, crying more frequently, changes in your sleeping patterns, which might be sleeping too much or sleeping too little, difficulty concentrating, and difficulty remembering daily tasks that you need to do, like medications or assignment due dates. During this time, your stress levels could be raised if you know people affected by coronavirus. That is for sure very stressful because it's directly affecting your life. So how to maintain a good mental state? It's very important to acknowledge that what we're going through is potentially traumatic. This is unprecedented times. We've never gone through anything like this. So it's very important to recognize and try to make peace with the fact that this is hard for everyone, but we will get through it. It's also good to recognize that things are not secure right now, so you can only focus on what you can control. So that might be school, exercise, and your friendships. It is also important to remember that we have control over how we choose to respond. So a positive reaction equals a positive mental state. It is also important to stay grounded. So practicing mindfulness, it really helps you relax. So some things that you can use to relax and really calm down are Insight Timer, Smiling Mind, UCLA Mindful. Those are all very important tools that you can download and utilize. Practice meditation, and this might not be for you, but it might work really well, and you never knew that it would work really well. So you never know until you try. It's a really good way to practice your breathing skills and techniques. just like the box breathing technique. Yeah, and also, it's really important to get outside. It is not good for your mental health at all to be cooped in the same room, in the same house, same walls all day long. So as long as you're staying 6 feet away from each other and practicing social distancing, getting some sun and some fresh air, that is very, very important, and can really help with your mental health. Your physical health goes so deeply hand in hand with your mental health. So ways that you can make sure that both are doing well are making sure that you're eating healthier foods and not just quarantine junk. A healthy food equals a healthy mind. I don't know if you've heard of superfoods, but those are known to really help with your mental health. If you're having migraines, there are foods that can sort of help with that. Keeping up your water intake is also really important. Your water intake, if you're dehydrated, there's evidence that shows that it causes migraines and irritability and all these other things that could potentially lead to a rough mental health state. And exercise is also really important, especially while in quarantine. It's, for example, if you're sitting all day or even standing all day, that's not good on your body. So you want to make sure that your muscles are still doing okay. So there are a lot of resources that you can use. You can Google at-home exercises, and there's a lot of good YouTube videos, which later in the slides have linked a really good yoga video for you to do. Yeah. Dopamine is very important for mental health. It is the neurotransmitter that correlates to happiness and being uplifted. So ways to boost your dopamine are you can play an online game with your friends. And this doesn't necessarily mean like a game on your PlayStation. There are games that you can play on the internet. One of them is scribble.io. It's essentially Pictionary. And a way to make that even more fun is to FaceTime, like do a group FaceTime with your friends while you're playing with them. I've done that while in quarantine, and it was really fun. It definitely brought some smiles and laughs. Some journaling prompts. Desavia, one of our other panelists, has prepared some really good journaling prompts for you guys. It's really important to get those feelings out if you don't feel comfortable talking to other people about what you're feeling during quarantine. It's really important to at least express those in some way. So writing them down and journaling can really help with that. Another way that you can really get up and moving and uplifted is cooking. And Lucia has prepared a cooking tutorial for you guys that we will be watching here in a few minutes. And it's really important that you use those healthy foods that we talked about to cook too, so that you're maintaining a good physical health. If you have a dog, taking your dog on daily walks is a really good way to boost your dopamine. I know my pup has been really bored in quarantine, and she'll sit there and stare at me until I take her on a walk. And just seeing her happy and her tail wagging while we're walking, it just brings a smile to my face to know that she's happy and she's doing okay during the quarantine. So if you have a dog, take them on a walk. Exercise, like I said, is super important. And community service. Now, you might not think that community service correlates with mental health, but I've had many personal experiences that have just boosted my happiness, brought a smile to my face, and made my day just so worth waking up for, because I was able to bring a smile to someone else's face. And some ways that you can do community service will be discussed later on in the slideshow. Art is very, very important. This one is near and dear to my heart. I have struggled with my mental health very much, and during quarantine it's gotten a lot worse, but one way that I've been able to really keep myself sane is my art and my digital art. I have an iPad and an Apple Pencil, and that's what I do all day aside from my schoolwork and walking my dog is my art. If you don't feel like journaling prompts help you get your feelings out, art is another really good outlet for your feelings. Like I said earlier, I have attached this link for this YouTube video on beginners yoga. It's a I believe 20-minute video of stuff you can do just at home and to work on relaxation and calming down. And then another really good way to boost your dopamine is by dancing. I know that a lot of you like to dance, and YouTube has some really cool Just Dance videos. If you don't have a Wii, or if it's not working anymore, something I used to do as a kid is I would look up Just Dance videos and I just dance along with them. And you can just do that in your living room or wherever you have like a big monitor that you can project it on. That's really fun to do. And this is the cooking tutorial that Lucia has prepared for us.
Quarantine that we're going through. And so one of the things I'm going to be giving you guys today is one of my favorite recipes called the Mexican quinoa casserole. I'm just going to walk you guys through a couple of different steps. I've already measured out all the ingredients minus the water and the cheese, but in here I have all the spices plus a cup of quinoa. So we have cumin, red chili powder, salt, and garlic powder, and then a can of corn, a can of black beans, 1 bell pepper diced, and then half an onion diced, which is about a half a cup. So you just pour all of it in. And super easy. Before you start, you're gonna want to preheat your oven to 350. And I will usually make it for my roommates and myself, and it'll last us for like the entire week. We'll eat it for dinner, and then we'll have a bunch of leftovers for the rest of the week. And I'll have it for like lunch twice that week. My roommates will have it for lunch, dinner, whatever, and all this, we'll get a couple more meals out of it. But once you add in your cheese and then a cup of water, you'll just mix it together and pop it into the oven. It is super, super quick. It only bakes for about a half an hour. And then I like to leave it in a little bit longer so it can firm up a little bit. And after it's all firmed up, you can serve it out and store it for leftovers. But a little tip, once you put it in the fridge, it will firm up a little bit more. So just be prepared for that. Thanks.
I personally have tried this recipe and it is awesome. So even if quinoa, the word quinoa sounds disgusting, I promise it's not. It is really good. And right next to this video, we have those journaling prompts that were prepared. So you guys will have access to these even after the webinar is done. And I've read through them and they look really awesome to write about.
Hey y'all, I'm Lucia.
What? There we go.
So like I said, community service can be a great way to bring some smiles to your day. And I know that while we're in quarantine, you can't really get out and do a lot of the community service that is available to you. So some things that you can do are walking around your neighborhood or wherever you live, or if you're still in Stillwater, you could go to Boomer Lake and picking up trash. Just make sure you have your mask and some gloves on, and make sure you wash your hands really good right after, because we don't know who's touched all those things. It's a great way to clean up the environment and make sure that everything's going well there. You can write letters to nursing home residents. A lot of nursing homes don't allow their visitors anymore. So the residents can't see their family, and they might feel really upset and really down about that. So make sure you call the nursing home, or even if you want to do it with a hospital, make sure you call them and make sure that they're accepting those first. And then I think that would be a really good way to give some smiles to the residents. Another really cool way that is my personal favorite is called Be My Eyes. It is an app that you can download, and when you download it, you'll say, I'm either blind or visually impaired, or I am seeing. And if you're seeing, you will sign up and allow them access to your camera and your microphone. And whenever a blind or visually impaired person needs help with something, like a normal daily task, they will use their version of the app to call someone, a volunteer, and it'll pop up on your phone that someone needs help, and you just press the notification and it'll open the app, and it'll be like a FaceTime, but through the app. And they'll ask you to help them. It could be something simple as, what color is this shirt? I want to make sure my outfit matches, or is my food expired? And then once you've helped them, they'll hang up and that's it. And you don't even have to worry about not being there if you're busy, because that same notification will go to other volunteers elsewhere and someone else will be able to help them. I got my first notification last week and I was able to help a blind man read whether it was the right coffee that he wanted. And it just, when I saw that notification, I lit up and I was so fulfilled to be able to help someone like that, even for something so simple. So that's a really good way to kind of boost your mood up a little bit. The OSU Counseling Center is still working. They're just doing it virtually, and they're operating Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 using TAO teleconferencing platform. If you'd like to schedule an appointment or an intake appointment, you can go to their website, which is linked right here, and you can also call this number and leave a message, and they'll get back to you as soon as they possibly can. Something that is very important to remember about the counseling services is because they're all working from home, it's likely that you'll get a call from a private number or a blocked number, unknown number. That is probably them. That happened to me my first call, and I didn't know who it was, and they kept calling me. And I finally answered, and it was them trying to get a hold of me for my appointment. I see someone every week, and I am so pleased with how they're helping me in my mental health during this time. So this is a really, really good resource that you can use. If you feel like you need someone to talk to but can't necessarily get a hold of counseling services, it's important to know your criteria. So writing down all of your feelings and like everything that you're feeling is super important, because it not only allows for you to like acknowledge what you're feeling, but it also allows for the person that helps you to get a better understanding of what you're going through so they can help you. Psychologytoday.com and ava.com, both of those, you type in your zip code and it'll show you all the mental health professionals in the vicinity that you're in that you can go to. The Talkspace virtual option is just that. It's someone you can talk to online. Sometimes it's a professional, sometimes it's not. And then if you have a current provider, please contact them and see if they are able to do video conferencing. Just because we're in quarantine, that does not mean that you are not entitled to help. Yeah. Here are some other resources about everything that I've talked about. If you are struggling with substance abuse or your mental health, that is the hotline that you can call to get some help with your struggles. And then that is the link to the University Counseling Services. For community service, if you're looking for other things to do other than just the Be My Eyes app, this is a link with dozens of virtual volunteering opportunities. I've looked through them and they're all really, really, really cool. And then Scribble.io is that Pictionary online game that you can play with your friends. And I've linked that right there for you guys to use.
Alrighty, so thank you so much to all of our presenters for presenting today over your topics, as well as all of the students and individuals that attended our webinar. I hope this helps you during your time in quarantine, and we'll be posting this webinar as well as the other webinars shortly to the Fraternity and Sorority Affairs office YouTube. So you'll still have access to these, and we'll link all of the different like cooking videos and journal prompts as well on our website, so you can still have access to this. So thank you very much for attending, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks.